Now, Scara, good afternoon to you. We all know the problems on that border. What problems is the BMA having with this fence?
Good afternoon to you, Stephen, and to our viewers. It's funny that you say we all know about the problems, but what are the solutions? What is government saying? The BMA, however, which is on the ground here with us, who have been patrolling with us, Stephen, say this fence is the problem, or at least where there is or seems to be a fencing. Stephen, on my left-hand side, I'll show you, it's this fence was erected, they tell me, during the apartheid era. Now, this extends for about 20 kilometers from the west of the Beitbridge border. Now, in my front, where I am walking to right now, this is the new fence, which costs government or the taxpayer 37 million rands, and it extends for 20 kilometers from the west going that side, and 20 kilometers, some further 20 kilometers from the border as well towards a railway to further on. 40 kilometers which was constructed of this fence at the cost of 37 million rand, Stephen, and yet we still sit with this problem. And this is causing a major headache for the BMA, who's saying this, as you can see, is a passageway, and this is where one of the tracks or one of the entrances for illegal immigrants. Over 600, Stephen, illegal immigrants have been arrested on the South African side of the Beitbridge since the 1st of January. So it's causing major headache for them. But what is the solution? You know, we were told when this was erected in 2020 that it was unfit for purpose, Stephen. And we've had oversight committees. Parliament was here, Scopa was here, and the Oversight Committee on Defence visited this area. Everybody agrees that this fence is a problem and causing a headache for law enforcement in South African side. But what has been the solution? And I remember, Stephen, in 2023, the then Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure saying that they are looking at long-term solution for the porous border fences of the country, all 52 of them. But this at Beitbridge posed a heavy burden on law enforcement here. It still poses a heavy burden, Stephen. And the question has to be asked, year after year, Stephen, we visit this border to monitor traffic from South Africa going to our neighboring countries, and which is the exit leg and the return leg. But we find ourselves now, some of the stories we don't cover, it's these problems that are faced here. I mean, a short while ago, Stephen, we were just 15 kilometers from where I am. Unfortunately, there's no cell phone signal where we were. And what we noticed, Stephen, was that there was a truck loading on the Zimbabwean side across the Limpopo River. We noticed that they were carrying quite heavy items, and which signaled, Stephen, that the items were perhaps from South African side, and they boarded a boat across to the Zimbabwean side. So the BMA says, look, we've got boots on the ground, but are they sufficient? Are they being overwhelmed? That is the biggest problem. So earlier on, I sent a message to the Public Works Department, and I wanted to find out as to what are measures being put, or what are the plans to curb this problem that we have here. And listen to what the response they gave me. They said, I think it would be best to speak to the Department of Home Affairs as they allocate funding to us in order to carry new infrastructure. So they referred our inquiry to the Home Affairs Department. But it is known, Stephen, that infrastructure and government buildings such as this is taken care of the Public Works Department. So they're passing the buck. So will we have solutions to the problems that are faced here and on a daily basis? And another thing that the BMA says is that they can apprehend through their surveillance and the use of their drones. They see some movements on the South African side, they apprehend them, and they end up being deported back to their countries. But they see familiar faces. They see the same faces being crossing the border again tomorrow. So they need their counterparts on the other side, which now is Zimbabwe, to assist them in in terms of law enforcement, their side. So that is the current situation here at the Beitbridge border post, and not far from where we are, as you see the gentlemen from the BMA who have been patrolling with us across the border. And I must say, we have noticed some people called gomas who are spotters, for a lack of a better word. So what they do, they come into the bushes, they monitor movements of the BMA and the SANDF, and they facilitate the movement of people crossing across the river and making their way to South Africa. And some instances assisting them until they get to the neighboring town, which is Messina. So it's posing a very, very difficulties on the BMA to try manage some of this problem that's faced here. And lastly, Stephen, is that the BMA tells us that there's little they can do regarding this fence. They're actually not even supposed to allowed to touch this fence, as it's another agency of government which must take care of such problems which sit with us here, Stephen.
Scara, thank you so much for that. Scara Mafokoane giving a fantastic explanation there of some of the problems